Hi everybody, it's Monday again, so we are going to be doing our play plans in literacy this week. Now, we are still continuing with our theme of Jack and the Beanstalk, but we're going to have a look at an alternative version of the story. So that means that it might not have Jack, it might not have the giant, there might be different characters. Do you remember the other week we did Rolling the Dice and we changed the story slightly? So your play plan, we'd like you to link it around Jack and the Beanstalk again, but a different version. And what your play plan might be is making your own version, a slightly different version, the same story. You know, there's still a beanstalk, there's still a castle at the top, there might still be a giant, but the person climbing up it might be different, or the person at the top might be different. So you could do that as one of your ideas for play plan. Should we have a look? Because this one is called Fee, Fi, Fo, Fum. And look who's climbing up. That's not Jack. We know that, don't we? Okay. So, Fee, Fi, Fo, Fum. Wolfie's plan to eat the girl in the red cloak had gone well to start with. He'd hidden, let me move over to this side so that you can see it. He'd hidden in Grandma's cupboard and put on her nightclothes before the girl walked through the door. If only he hadn't shown the girl his teeth. She had screamed so loudly, well, wouldn't you if you saw the big bad wolf? What will the woodsman have heard and come running to save her? In a panic, Wolfie dived out the nearest window and landed with a yelp in an enormous patch of stinging nettles. Could his day get any worse? Luckily, he managed to outrun the angry woodsman, who was weighed down by a heavy axe. Look, that angry woodsman looks very tired. Not taking any chances, Wolfie kept running, forgetting that he was still wearing his grandma disguise. Oh dear. Just as he thought he was safe, the nightie slipped down around his ankles, making him trip and fall into a thorny bush. Oh goodness me, poor Wolfie. Once his head had stopped spinning, he saw that he had landed outside a little cottage. Inside, he could hear a very angry woman shouting, "Oh Jack, what on earth are we meant to do with these silly beans?" Before Wolfie could move, the beans came sailing out the window and rained down on his head. "Ow!" he said. "I've had enough of this." He's not having a good day. Maybe your play plan could be linked to looking after Wolfie and becoming a nurse. You might have to write a prescription for him. It was starting to get dark. Wolfie was exhausted, so he settled down to sleep. As he lay dreaming, a beanstalk began to grow from one of the beans. Oh my goodness. It stretched higher and higher into the sky, and by the time Wolfie woke up, it was disappearing into the clouds. We already knew that, didn't we? He heard the sound of rustling leaves from above and caught a whiff of smelly socks. "A boy!" he exclaimed hungrily. "Ooh!" "No more red-cloaked little girls or little pigs for me," he said to himself. "I'm heading after that boy. Soon it will be lunchtime." Wolfie climbed as quickly as he could, using his claws to grip the stalk as he clambered higher and higher. When he finally reached the top, he gasped in amazement and he stared up at the gigantic castle. Maybe if you didn't do a castle last week, you could do a castle this week as part of your play plan. It was so huge that it looked like it belonged to a giant. In the door, there was an enormous cat flap, though which he just saw a boy's leg. Through it, he just saw a boy's leg disappear. And look, can you just see Jack's leg? Maybe you could do something about cats this week in your play plan. Wolfie struggled as he waded through the soft, fluffy clouds, but eventually he reached the flap and clambered inside. He tried to follow the scent of the boy, but was distracted by another smell that creeped inside. His hairy nostrils. Ugh. I wonder if your mummies or daddies have got hairy nostrils. Sorry, Miss Ransom's laughing. Someone who smelt even worse than the boy was nearby. Wolfie crept quietly through his empty halls until he reached the kitchen. There on top of a huge table stood the boy, with a goose under one arm and a harp under the other. Without making a sound, Wolfie tiptoed towards him. Tiptoe, tiptoe, tiptoe. But the silence was suddenly shattered as the harp played a noisy tune. "Oh no!" said the boy as the ground began to rumble. A terrifying voice boomed, "Fee, fi, fo, fum!" "Fee, fi, fo, fum?" muttered Wolfie to himself. "I think it's best if I head off now." But at that moment, the boy jumped off from the table and landed on Wolfie, pinning him to the floor. "Oh my goodness gracious." "Sorry," said the boy, grinning as he ran towards the door. "And thank you for the soft landing. Gosh, Jack is cheeky, isn't he?" Wolfie struggled to his feet and raced after the boy, with the thud of the giant's footsteps closely behind him. The boy hurried through the cat flap and raced ahead, but poor Wolfie was too slow. The giant yanked open the door and sent him flying through the air with a colossal kick. That's a good word, isn't it? Colossal kick. Wolfie landed in a painful heap next to the beanstalk, determined to catch the boy. The persistent wolf scrambled down the beanstalk with the giant in hot pursuit. Oh no! Maybe we could make a trap for the giant. That would be a good play plan, wouldn't it? In his haste, Wolfie slipped and tumbled, overtaking the boy, and bounced from branch to branch before meeting the ground with a bone-shattering thump. Now, you might think this is where Wolfie's problems would end, but unfortunately for him, there was one last horrible surprise waiting for him. Oh no! There in the garden stood Will the woodcutter with his sharp, shiny axe. "Not again!" Will yelled. He chased after Wolfie, accidentally hacking at the beanstalk with every single swipe of his axe. Oh no! Soon a creaking sound filled the air and the beanstalk began to topple. The giant and the beanstalk came crashing to the ground. As the boy headed back to the cottage, Wolfie stalked away furious after a disastrous day of bumps and bruises. And no dinner. Maybe I'll go and visit those 3 little pigs again. Oh, so you could do a play plan linked to the 3 little pigs. He thought, third time lucky after all. Some wolves never learn, do they? The end. So there was lots of ideas for you to do your play plan. I think it would be really nice to do a trap or something like that, maybe for the wolf, maybe for the giant. We would like you, we're going to be looking at newspapers this week in literacy, so if you would like to do your newspaper as part of your play plan, that might save you a job, but you could link it, and there's lots and lots of different ideas. Okay, we're going to go on to maths now. So do you remember last week we did our click, so that was our quick remembering of doubles. This week we're going to do another learn it, so it's another challenge yourself, but we're going to have another look at number bonds. Do you remember we did this last week? We've had a practice at these, and these are your number bonds to 10 with missing numbers. So the job today is to do as many as you can in a minute. So we're going to have a little practice. I've lost my pen, so I have to use my finger as my pen today. So we're going to start. So 1 add something equals 10. So we've got 1 add something equals 10. What do we think that answer might be? I think it might be 9. What do you think? So I'm going to write number 9. Oh, this one, we know this one. So 5 add something makes 10. 5 add something makes 10. What is it? It's 5. We're doing well today. So we get 2 ticks. 1 add something. So 1 add something equals 10. We've just done that one. So what is it? 1 add something, 1 add 9 equals 10. 2 add something. Oh, we haven't done this one. So 2 add something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. 2 add 8 equals 10. 2 add 8 equals 10. I didn't get very far today with my minute. I only managed to do 4. I wonder if you can beat me. Let me know how you get on, and don't forget to do it every single day to see whether you can beat yourself. Miss Ransom, have you got a story for us?
I have. Going to read one of our stories ready for next term.
And this links in with our topic, because our topic today is cooking, isn't it?
Yes, and this story is about farmer.
Oh, and I think your topic task was to make some bean stew. Now, you might do that out in the garden, or are you going to do it in the mud kitchen?
I think I'm going to do it in the mud kitchen, yeah. I might show them.
Oh,
okay. This story is called Farmer Duck. There was once a duck who had the bad luck to live with a lazy old farmer. The duck did the work, and the farmer stayed all day in bed. The duck fetched the cow from the field. "How goes the work?" called the farmer. And the duck answered, what did the duck say? "Quack." The duck brought the sheep from the hill. "How goes the work?" called the farmer. And the duck answered, "Quack." The duck put the hens in their house. "How goes the work?" called the farmer. And the duck answered, "Quack." The farmer got fat through staying in bed, and the poor duck got fed up with working all day. That farmer is not helping the duck at all, is he? How goes the work? Quack. How goes the work? Quack. Oh, he's doing some cooking here. Look, and some washing up. How goes the work? Quack. Oh, he's doing the ironing as well. How goes the work? Quack. Oh, what else is he doing? He's picking some apples. And the farmer says, "How goes the work?" Quack. Getting the eggs. How goes the work? Quack. The poor duck was sleepy and weepy and tired. Did you see all of those jobs that he had to do? The hens and the cow and the sheep got very upset. They loved the duck, so they held a meeting under the moon and they made a plan for the morning. "Moo," said the cow. "Baa," said the sheep. "Cluck," said the hens. And that was the plan. Wonder what they said. It was just before dawn. The sun's not out yet, look. And the farmyard was still. Through a back door and into the house crept, they're going to creep, the cow and the sheep and the hens. They stole down the hall and they creaked up the stairs. Trying not to wake him up. They squeezed underneath the bed of the farmer and wriggled about. The bed started to rock and the farmer woke up and he called, "How goes the work?" And moo, ba, cluck. They lifted his bed. Uh-oh. And he started to shout and they banged and they bounced the old farmer about and about and about, right out of bed. And he fled, he ran away with the cow and the sheep and the hens mooing and barring and clucking all around him. Down the lane, moo, through the field, baa, up the hill, cluck, and he never came back. The duck awoke and waddled wearily, that's a good word, that means really tired, wearily, into the yard expecting to hear how goes the work. But nobody spoke. Then the cow and the sheep and the hens came back. "Quack?" asked the duck. "Moo," said the cow. "Baa," said the sheep. "Cluck," said the hens, which told the duck the whole story. Then, mooing and barking and clucking and quacking, they all set to work on their farm. And that's the end. Look at that beautiful painting of a farm. There's a big tall tree grown there, isn't there? Okay, that is the end. Have a lovely day. We can't wait to see what you get up to. Bye. Hi everyone. I am outside in our mud kitchen because your topic task today is to do a bit of cooking. Now, we'd like you to do some cooking with beans because we've been learning all about Jack and the Beanstalk and his magic beans. Now, we've suggested you might want to make a bean stew, but you could do something else. You might make soup, you might even make a bean chilli. Now, I've chosen to make mine in the mud kitchen, but you might make a real one, and get some beans from the shops, or you might pretend and use a play kitchen to do it. It's completely up to you. But we'd love to see what you come up with. Maybe you are going to write a recipe, or if you make something for tea, you could write a menu.
Ooh.
I know, wouldn't you like to see that, Miss Bowden? So I'm going to use this big pot and make a big bean stew, big enough for a giant. Have fun doing this today. Bye!